Come to a seated position, either cross-legged or into your heels, and then start to close your eyes and take some nice long inhales and nice long exhales. Feeling the ground below you support you, relaxing through the shoulders, the knees, the toes, and the ankles, providing your lungs with very long inhales and exhales to open up and expand the ribs. Once you have completed a few rounds of breath, bring your hands towards your heart center and cultivate an intention or dedication for your practice. Release all the other mind thoughts and focus in on being here and being present. On your inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Maybe start to open up the eyes and look up. And then on your exhale, start to draw the hands back towards your heart center. Inhale, bringing the arms back up over your head. And exhale, bringing the right hand down towards the floor, towards your right hip, and the left arm up and over. Take a few rounds of breath here, extending through the left side waist. On your inhale, bringing the arms back up through center. And then on the exhale, drawing the left hand down towards the left side and bringing the right arm up and over your head. And take 2 to 3 rounds of breath again here, extending through the right side waist. On your next inhale, bringing both arms back up through center. And exhale, draw the hands back through heart center and walk the hands forward in front of you and let the head drop down. Feeling the stretch in through the low back, the middle back, the upper back, all the way up into your neck. On your next inhale, rise, bringing the arms back up over your head on the inhale. And on your exhale, cactus your arms out. Inhale, draw the hands back up. Exhale, cactus the arms back out. Inhale, arms come back up. And exhale, taking your right hand behind you, right next to your glutes and the hips, and bringing the left hand onto the right knee. Twisting, lengthening up through the top of the head. And on your next inhale, switch to the other side, reaching the arms up, and then slowly starting to twist around. On your next inhale, bringing the arms back up over your head. And exhale, draw the hands to heart center. Making your way onto your hands and your knees, coming into cat-cow. Inhale, opening up through the front of the body. And exhale, rounding the body. Make sure that the hands are underneath the shoulders and the knees are underneath the hips. And go through cat-cow a few times, opening up through the front of the body, and then rounding. You might even sit back towards your heels, coming into kind of like a child's pose. Maybe one more of these on your own, and then we'll all make our way into a neutral spine, into a tabletop position. From there, going side to side, so crunching into the right oblique, crunching into the left oblique, just finding some movement for the spine. And then taking your right foot back and over towards the left corner of your mat, looking over your right shoulder. Coming back through center and switch it out to the other side. When you're ready, making your way back into a tabletop. and into child's pose, bringing the knees apart, big toes together, and resting your forehead onto the floor. From there, walking the hands over to the right, feeling the stretch on the left side of the body, letting your forehead relax onto the floor. And once you've taken a couple of breaths, then just gently switch it out to the other side, walking the hands over to the left side of your mat for the right side waist to open up. Making your way back through center and up onto hands and knees and into our downward dog. Bending the knees one at a time, loosening things up and through the glutes, the hamstrings, and the calves. Maybe lifting both heels up and then dropping the heels down several times to loosen up through the ankles and the toes. Bending the knees and straightening them out. And shaking out the head and the neck if needed. And finding your downward dog. Pressing the hands firmly into the floor, sending the heels down and the hip bones high. Deep breathing in and out. As you're ready, you'll start to walk the feet up towards the top of the mat into a forward fold. So bring your feet about hip width apart. You might grab opposite elbows, soften through the knees, and pull the shoulders onto the back. Perhaps sway from side to side. Releasing the hands onto the floor. And from the top of your mat, take your right foot back and drop the right knee down, coming into a low lunge. Placing the hands onto the thigh right above the knee and lunging forward. Making sure to have your left hip being sent back as your right hip is coming forward. So trying to square your hip bones off in front of you. Placing both hands down on the inside edge of the left foot and walk your hands over to the right side of the room. Feeling a deep stretch in through the back of the left thigh, the top of the right thigh, elongating through the spine as you are doing so. Walking the hands back up, framing the foot with both hands, then start to straighten out through the left leg, flexing the left toes into a half split. Elongating through the spine again, create a long spine, maybe looking forward to help you to remember to create this long spine in through the body. Once you've completed a few breaths, then start to bend the left knee again. Place both hands on the inside edge of the left foot and maybe drop down onto your elbows. You can let the head hang heavy here. Breathing into your thighs, into your back. Placing the hands back down onto the floor, frame the foot. Lift the back knee up and start to walk your right foot in towards your left foot, maybe about 3 to 6 inches, coming into a pyramid pose. Elongating as much as you can before you forward fold, maybe using blocks to place your hands on to help you get the floor a little bit closer to you. Breathing nice and slow, in and out. Feeling the stretch in through the hamstrings and the calves. Making sure your hips are square. From there, maybe using one block on the inside edge of the left foot. Nice high lunge here. Right hand is down and the left arm will start to come up towards the sky, coming into a lunge with a twist. Very important you have a nice long spine in this one, that you're bringing your belly button in to protect your back. And then the back heel is really high and lifted, so you feel the stretch in through your toes. After taking a few rounds of breath, place the hands back down to frame the foot. Step up with the right foot into a forward fold. Maybe taking ragdoll, grabbing opposite elbows. Soften through the knees. Then we'll go to the other side. So the left foot steps back, left knee comes down, and untuck your toes. And placing the hands onto the thigh right above the knee into a lunge. Notice that the right knee is right over the right ankle, and that the hips are trying to square out as much as they can. So think about pressing your left hip forward and your right hip back. Lengthening through the spine, growing through the crown of the head. From there, we'll place both hands on the inside edge of the foot and walk the hands over to the left corner of your mat. Still lunging forward, dropping through the hips. And then as you are ready, walk the hands back up, frame the foot with the hands again, and start to straighten out through the right leg into a half split. Lengthening through the spine. And if you need to, you might even walk your right foot forward a little bit more, or step your left knee back further to deepen the stretch. Breathing in, breathing out continuously. And when you feel ready, you'll slowly start to bend through the right knee again, coming back into your lunge with both hands on the inside edge of the right foot. Then dropping the elbows down if you would like to. Still pressing the hips under you, bending through the right knee. Breathing in, breathing out. Slowly start to bring the hands back down onto the floor. Frame the foot with both hands. Lift the back knee up off of the floor, coming into pyramid pose. Perhaps using the blocks again on either side of the foot. Elongate through the spine, get your hips nice and square, and then forward fold. Thinking about pressing your left hip back. The left hip forward, right hip back. Feeling the stretch deep in and through the hamstrings and calves with each exhale. Making your way into your lunge. So your knee is lifted up off of the floor if it's appropriate. Your hand can go onto the floor or a block on the inside edge of the right foot, and then the right arm starts to come up to the sky. Bending through the forward knee, back heel super high and lifted, elongating through the spine so that you're able to twist into your body. You can always have both hands on the floor if a twist is not appropriate for you on either side. Then bringing both hands back down, stepping the back foot up to meet the right into a forward fold. And this time let's take gorilla pose. So placing the hands underneath the feet from the front, elongate through the spine, and forward fold from here. And the knees might be bent a lot, or they might be soft. Maybe the elbows bend out to the sides. Just be mindful that the shoulders go away from the ears and onto the back. Big stretch for the whole entire back of the body. Releasing the hands, and then from here, turn to the side so that you can come into a wide stance forward fold. There's lots of options. Maybe you use a block, and you can place your hands onto the block. Maybe you're bending your elbows and letting your head drop. Reaching the head towards the ground. You could also grab onto the outside edges of your feet and gently pull yourself down. Shoulders away from the ears. Weight is situated slightly more forward into the pads of the feet so that the hips can stack over your ankles. One more breath. And then as you're ready, place the hands onto the floor and just walk your feet in maybe 3 to 6 inches. Turn your toes and your knees out, come into a horse stance, taking the elbows onto the inside edges of the thighs to help press the knees out. You want your knees in line with the second toes, so if you need to turn the toes more in or out, that is perfectly fine. Using your arms to press the knees out to the sides, elongating through the spine. And then taking a twist if that is accessible for you. So the left hand onto the inside edge of the left knee, long spine and twisting to the right. And coming back through center and trying it on the other side. Using your hand to press the knee out as you twist. Very, very important that you are elongating through the spine the entire time. And sinking the hips down, sinking the glutes down. And then coming back through center into your horse stance. And into your wide stance forward fold again. You might walk your feet back out and forward fold. Taking a shoulder rinse, so interlacing the fingers from behind and reach your arms up and over your head. Be mindful that the weight is still situated slightly more forward into the pads of the feet so the hips can be more in line with the ankles. The shoulders are away from the ears, so they are fighting against gravity a bit. One more inhale and exhale. And then slowly draw the hands back towards your low back and then onto the ground. Making your way back to the top of the mat and into downward dog. And feel out downward dog here. Stretch out, move around however is needed. And then finally, making your way back down into child's pose. Knees apart, big toes together. You might bring your hands in prayer behind your neck with your elbows bent. And taking long, deep inhales and exhales, remembering again your intention and your dedication for your practice today. Softening through the entire body. Enjoying the stretch and through the hips and the low back. And then relaxing your hands back down onto the floor, either out in front of you or to the sides of your body. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.